Hi guys, welcome to the Wrestling Retrospective, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a review of TNA Under Siege 2025. So first up on the show, we had Mike Santana defeat Casey Navarro. AJ Francis was supposed to face Mike Santana, but he got turf foot from getting out of a limo. A very unfortunate injury. But yeah, Santana and Casey Navarro, I think absolutely killed it. I actually would give this match of the night. I very much enjoyed this. Santana seems to have seamless transitional wrestling. You know, I think back to the rolling cutter. I feel like that was hit seamlessly, especially with him kind of countering moves before that. Navarro is really good, especially in a fast-paced style of wrestling, kind of similar to Axiom from NXT or main roster now. But yeah, the more I watch Navarro, the more I'm becoming a fan of his. I feel like he's got some great potential. I think the only thing that's really letting him down is that he's quite small, but I feel like he would be quite good in the X Division. But yeah, from a wrestling standpoint, this was a lot better than I expected, and also I would say that this match was actually better than what Francis versus Mike Santana could have been, like I've said before. But yeah, this was a really good way to start a show, and yeah, afterwards we saw that Francis actually wasn't injured and he attacked Santana after the match, and you kind of saw that Navarro was conflicted because the reason that Francis attacked Santana was because he was going for a handshake to Navarro, and you can kind of see that there's going to start becoming cracks between First Class. And yeah, I feel like that will be a really good feud as long as Navarro comes out with that feud on top, as I feel like he is the future star out of the team, whereas Francis kind of would be better staying as a heel and kind of losing to the newly come babyface. Following that, Eddie Edwards defeated Cody Deaner, which means that Cody Deaner won't have his contract renewed and he will leave TNA. This was an okay match. The drama of Deaner's job kind of helped it a lot. Yeah, he showed good resiliency, especially after Eddie Edwards punched him with a ring. That's why I couldn't find the words then. But yeah, Edwards cheating twice to get the win over Deaner made perfect sense. And I feel like it's kind of like a TNA legend in Eddie Edwards kind of having Deaner's last match. It'll be pretty good for him. I've got no idea if Cody Deaner actually shows up anywhere else. I can't think of anything right now, as he's not an overly popular guy. I feel like TNA is actually a really good place for him to be, and I wonder whether it's more his decision to leave TNA than it is actually TNA's decision. But yeah, the system verbally attacking him after the match only to set up the system versus Northern Armory afterwards kind of felt a bit insulting to Cody Deaner. You know, he didn't really get his moment to say goodbye to people. He kind of just got left as an afterthought to a match that was then put afterwards. And I get that the Northern Armory and Eric Young kind of came out to help Cody Deaner, but it was very quickly made obvious that really it was just there to set a match up, which is kind of insulting in a way, but maybe that was the whole point and Deaner didn't mind. It just it didn't come across, I think, as well, I mean, in my opinion, than it could have, in my opinion, for me anyway. So yeah, following that, we had Northern Armory defeat the system, and yeah, this was a decent six-man tag. Both teams work really well together. Northern Armory, the tag, I can never remember their names. Not Eric Young, the other two are actually a really underrated team. I feel like their synergy is really good. I feel like they really could be challenging for tag championships if they really wanted to be. I feel like having Eric Young by their side as well, leading them, is probably going to be a massive help to them. But yeah, good on Elisha Edwards for attacking that mascot. Honestly, I love it when mascots get attacked. I feel like it's just one of those really funny things, and the fact that their mascot, I think it was a bumblebee, I believe, got taken out with a kendo stick by Alicia. I thought it was the best thing she's done in TNA for a long time. But yeah, no, and then these two random guys helped the bumblebee, and it was all very random, and I didn't really get it because I'm not from that place, I guess. Young pinning Moose, as Moose's X Division champion, is crazy. I feel like the system definitely should have won this match, or one of the tag team members should have got a pin over Brian Myers. But to have Eric Young kind of be a contender now for the X Division championship seems mad in 2025. But I can't see him like taking the title from Moose. I feel like it'd just be another thing to do, maybe against all odds they do Young versus Moose, or maybe they don't do it at all. I don't know. I thought Leon Slater was going to be next in line for an X Division championship match, and he ended up in the tag division. So I actually have no idea. But yeah, that just seemed really random. I definitely would have had Moose kind of get the pin in this one, but for me, it very much felt like a way to get a Canadian babyface pop, I guess, because the Northern Army are from Canada. Because it was only a few months ago they were heels and going after the International Championship and Steve Macklin. So yeah, it was kind of a very quick switch to babyface because they were in Canada. Following that, we had Ash and Heather by Elegance defeat Spitfire for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. And two details I kind of missed in my predictions, unless they were made on Impact the Thursday after I made the predictions, which I missed because I was watching Collision. It got made a street fight, and there was a stipulation added where if Spitfire lost, which they did, they'd have to split up, which I had no idea about going in, but luckily my prediction was right anyway because I backed Heather and Ash. But yeah, thank God this feud is finally over, because this is, as I said on the predictions, I feel like this feud has been going on since before Bound for Glory, which was October. So yeah, this has been a very, very long rivalry, mainly because these are the two main women's tag teams in the division. But yeah, I'm hoping that like Ash and Heather Balligans get more variety of opponents going forward. And yeah, I think it's another decent match. It was very tame for a TNA street fight. I expected maybe a little bit of blood, but no, it was all kind of like fine. There was a table spot, there was some chairs and kendo sticks and bins, but like nothing too extreme, if you will. But no, it was action-packed throughout. The really bad table spot where Daniel Luna cracked her head and arm on the table because it didn't break was pretty bad, because he came off the top rope as well, so like there was even more force behind it. But no, Daniel Luna for me is someone who really could be a future Knockouts champion in my opinion. She reminds me a lot of Jordan Grace, or at least early on in TNA Jordan Grace. And yeah, I feel like it's only a matter of time for like TNA figure out that they've got kind of a future star in their hands and kind of start pushing her towards the Knockouts championship. Maybe even have Tessa defeat Masha and then have Danny defeat Tessa. I feel that'd be a really good few champions to have. But yeah, I said this was like fine for what it was, and yeah, I don't know. I'm just glad this feud is over pretty much. But I said, yeah, for a street fight, this was very like safe and like not kind of the way that TNA usually do their street fights. Following that, we had Order 4, which is Mustafa Ali, the Brave Hands, or the Good Hands, and Tasha Steelz defeat the Rascals, Indy Hartwell, and Raj Singh. Raj Singh was the mystery partner that they had. It was supposed to be Ace Austin, but he got injured / left the company. So Raj Singh came in, and that made a lot of sense. He was associated with Mustafa Ali beforehand. It's kind of a babyface turn for him. And yeah, I mean, like I said, it made perfect sense as a partner. The match was fine. It was probably the weakest match so far. It didn't really click for me as far as like just in-ring action goes. It kind of was a bit stagnated, but I said it was fine for the most part, you know. Tasha and Mustafa wrestling in t-shirts was really weird looking. I wasn't quite expecting that. Like, I know that you're part of a group, but like, you don't need to wrestle in big baggy t-shirts, especially Tasha Steelz, because like it kind of reminded me of when WWE first went to Saudi Arabia, when the women were on and they just had really baggy t-shirts on. But no, I like the more intense feeling behind Mustafa Ali. Obviously after the loss to Matt Santana, he kind of switched a little bit. But yeah, the dropkick on Indy Hartwell to the outside was brutal looking, to be fair. It wasn't like a very safe, because he kind of did it from the side while she was distracted. It did not look very like that. It didn't look right at all, but it kind of made that good impact because the crowd reacted the way they should have, which was like, Mustafa Ali's alright bastard for doing it, even though TNA quite openly do intergender matches very often. But yeah, the right team won, in my opinion. Order 4 could be a real top team in TNA if they wanted to be, and I feel like this would be a good way to get Mustafa Ali into maybe the world title or X Division. But yeah, no, I feel like this is like a good way to get Mustafa Ali to a championship and then have kind of him control the championship via his group like he was doing beforehand when he was X Division champion, but maybe on a grander scale. After that, we had Tessa Blanchard defeat Ariana Grace, and yeah, Tessa has kind of the Dom Nick Mysterio and Don Callis kind of heat, and yeah, she uses it really well. She reacts and kind of interacts with the audience very well within her like gimmick, I guess, which is just to be the most hated person on the roster. Ariana not having a televised match since July is mad. You know, it's been nearly a year since she's had a match on TV. She's not great. I feel like, you know, she has some really good potential. But yeah, this as a match wasn't great. Ariana only did like basic moves. It was strikes, it was kicks, and it was clotheslines. She did a flying back elbow, which was good, and the superplex was like good as well. But like, again, it was very basic wrestling for like a TNA special event. Yeah, I kind of feel like, and I've put in my notes, that she should really spend more time in NXT than TNA. Now, I assume she's probably going to the PC fairly regularly, like NXT talent do. But yeah, I feel like if they put her back on NXT and then she's got a chance to like kind of get better in ring, because like, this is the thing, on screen, as in outside of the ring, she's great. Like, she has that really good character-based thing, you know, the whole pageant winner thing, the Miss NXT thing. It works really well, and I feel like if they capitalise on that by making her a better wrestler, she kind of has the potential to kind of be, okay, rebranded as, like, maybe give her a different gimmick than Miss NXT, but also, like, she would be able then to... I don't know what it is. Like, if she just got a better gimmick and then kind of learn wrestling more, like, she could be a top star, in my opinion. She has the look for it. She has the charisma for it. She just needs to get better in ring, pretty much. But yeah, as I Blanchard sold her moves really well, though, and like Tessa is arguably one of the better women in women's wrestling right now, so it doesn't shock me if that's the case. But yeah, the unfortunate part is that this is kind of 2 weak matches in a row on the show, which is unfortunate. But yeah, this was definitely the worst match of the night, unfortunately, because like Tessa has said, he's one of the best like women's wrestlers, arguably, in the world. After that, we had Masha Slamovich defeat Victoria Crawford to retain the Knockouts Championship in a match that was fine. Crawford was kind of overselling at times, but she was doing a lot better in ring than I thought she was going to do. I thought she might have lost it a little bit, but no, that wasn't the case. She was kind of throwing herself around a lot, but it was working within the aspect of the match. The ref bump definitely gave this match a little bit of life near the end. But I say, yeah, the issue, I think, with this one was the title was never in jeopardy. Victoria was never, ever going to win the Knockouts Championship here, which kind of took away from the match for me. But, as I said, it was fine. It gave Masha another defense, and hopefully she gets like a better opponent and a more regular opponent come against All Odds, which we assume, because of the promo afterwards, will be Li Ying Lee. And now I know that Robert Stone said she has to earn a match. I assume that she probably will, and that will probably be the match against All Odds for the Knockouts Championship, which is a match I'm very curious about, because I feel like, you know, Li Ying Lee is a wrestler with great potential. I thought she had good potential as Xia Li in WWE, but it simply didn't come to anything, and Masha Slamovich is a fantastic talent. So yeah, I very much look forward to seeing these two go at it at some point, if not against All Odds in 2 weeks. After that, we had the Nemeth, so Nick and Ryan Nemeth, successfully retain the World Tag Team Championships against Matt Hardy and Leon Slater. The match, again, was fine. Slater and Hardy worked better as a team than I thought they would. The two teams, or the two tag matches in a row, because we got the main event, which is tag match as well, I thought it was a bit tedious. Not the biggest fan of tag team wrestling. But Slater looked good, though, even in defeat. You know, he got a really good showing within the match. Honestly, he was probably the MVP of the match, to be fair. The Nemeth style of tag wrestling works really well with their gimmick. They're like always cutting the ring in half and kind of going after who they think is the weaker of the two of the opponents. And then, yeah, they're kind of shithousing them for like the first half of the match, like seeming like they're going to get the tag, and then they pull them back in again. And yeah, it's kind of like, it's a good style for them, but there's only so much of that I can watch before I get really, really bored. But yeah, Nick Nemeth definitely taught Ryan how to sell, you can kind of tell. But yeah, it would have been a massive shock if Hardy and Slater had come out with the titles here. You know, again, what took away from this match is the titles were never really in jeopardy. And yeah, so that's why it's only fine. And yeah, also the match just wasn't like majorly good either. I feel like if we got a rematch between the Hardys and the Nemeth, it would have been a lot better off maybe. But it's like this was fine. It's like I got a good showing. It just was very predictable. And finally, in the main event, Joe Hendry and Elijah defeated Trick Williams and Frankie Kazarian. And the most interesting part of this match came at the end. The fact that Hendry stood tall and kind of got the win over Trick, like, really makes the match at Battleground very interesting. Trick and Hendry face off after the match, but as far as the match goes, again, it was just fine. It was okay at best, you know, it was nothing really that special, you know. I think the whole point, or the means to an end, if you will, was just to give a taster of Hendry versus Trick. Elijah and Kazarian were just there, and really, like, they could have made this show a lot better as far as matches wise. You know, the fact that the opening match was the best match on the card kind of says a lot about the show. And yeah, it's kind of the issue with these TNA Plus events is the fact that, like, they're not taken majorly seriously. But yeah, no, for me, this was, again, just an okay match. We got the teaser of Hendry versus Trick for Sunday. But yeah, after this, I really don't know, like, kind of what goes on afterwards. It kind of depends on the World Championship, of which, like, the result kind of sends me into a place where I'm actually unsure what's going to happen at Battleground, because I assumed that Hendry standing tall on NXT would suggest that Trick was going to stand tall here, and then we would kind of go in on a mutual basis. But the fact that Hendry got the win here makes me doubt the fact that Hendry's going to retain at Battleground, but surely they're not going to put the TNA World title on a non-TNA wrestler. I feel like that would be probably not the best thing to do. I know it put the title on, like, a bigger stage of NXT, but, like, having the World Champion be someone who doesn't wrestle for TNA just doesn't seem right, especially in 2025. So yeah, it's something that, like, I've come out of the match more curious about Battleground than I have, like, liking the Under Siege event, which is probably not the best thing to feel. So those are my thoughts and opinions on TNA Under Siege 2025. Do put down in the comments below what you thought of the event, of any of the results. Are you now put into a bit of, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the word, but, like, are you questioning the fact that maybe Hendry does lose the title at Battleground on Sunday, or tomorrow even? But yeah, do put everything down in the comments and we can have a good chat about it. And yeah, for me, I was very surprised to see Santana and Casey Navarro get match of the night. I expected some better wrestling throughout, but, you know, sometimes events are just fine. You know, we all lived through 2018 to 2019 WWE where things weren't exactly great. But yeah, I said it was a fine show for what it was. I don't think it'll be the strongest event of the weekend. I don't think it's the weakest event of the weekend either. SmackDown was pretty mid last night. But yeah, as I said, what do you put it down in the comments. Do like the video if you're enjoying these reviews. A lot of reviews coming up as well. You know, you've got Battleground coming up on Monday. Battleground on Monday, and no, that's wrong. It's Double or Nothing on Monday and Battleground on Tuesday. That's what I was supposed to say. But yeah, also there's coverage of Against All Odds, Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank coming up in a couple of weeks. And yeah, literally on the video on the channel yesterday, I put up a review of AEW All Out 2021 as well. Arguably one of the, if not the best AEW pay-per-view to date. So yeah, do go check that out as well. Do check out all the other wrestling content that's on there. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.